ESPN's August is...
What is the game? You mean, what has caused it to endure? How did it come to be what it has come to be? Well, there pops into my mind immediately a half dozen answers. It's an inexhaustible question, pretty nearly. I remember in my youth down in the hills of southern Ohio, where, as country folk, we took the weekly Cincinnati Enquirer. And very early, I got a follow-up hero worship of Bid McPhee and Beckley and Mr. Comiskey, who was passing out of the picture at the time, and the old Catcher Pites. I do not believe that I misplaced my hero worship. It was proper. Boys short of physical maturity, boys are not interested in intellectual pursuits. Youth do not have creative minds. They go easily in the direction of least resistance. But George Herman Ruth never had capacity for a sense of failure. He came from Baltimore. At 7 years of age, he went into an orphanage. He was a slim chap. Those who knew him best at that time say that he was a standout, as a physical prodigy. His passion was really a diamond in a schoolyard. He met Jack Dunn, and he played that year with Baltimore in the International League, and at the end of his first season or before it, his contract was sold to the Red Sox. This youth, who was to become the king of home run hitters, hit his first home run a year later, in 1915, against the Yankees. He was known then as a pitcher. And then later, he was sold to the New York Yankees, a notable event in the history of baseball. In 1921, only 7 years out of the orphanage, he astonished baseball by making 59 home runs in a single season. Then followed the Yankees' great years of startling success. But in the main, the New York Yankees were to be regarded as Babe Ruth. He was baseball. He had the largest personal following in the history of the game. There's no doubt about it. The sudden spring of Ruth into baseball fame didn't exactly give him the big head. I don't think he ever had exactly that. But he followed easily his appetites. And in 1925, for example, was a time when he became overweight. He was careless of his physical condition. Then in Knoxville came about the famous legend of his strange overeating. 18 hot dogs was the story. He said to produce a stomach ache that was heard about the world. Apocryphal or no, he was really seriously ill, and the rumors multiplied and went about everywhere that perhaps Ruth was through. Baseball, the formal game itself, that goes back some 70 years before the entrance of Babe Ruth. The year 1846 was the year of the first game that was played over in Hoboken, New Jersey, across the river from New York. The New York team was made up of an aristocratic group of New York gentlemen. Alexander Cartwright was responsible for the Knickerbockers, responsible for the origin of baseball in America. Not Doubleday. This thing was done 122 or 3 years ago by Alexander Cartwright when he wrote practically all the rules, which are intact today, identical with them. You must come to understand that there was an adaptation of the distances to the ability of humans to act, the agility, the running speed, the throwing arms, all of those things that made this game endure without change. Very little change in the rules of the concept of Alexander Cartwright 123 years ago. Even during the Civil War, where brother was against brother, the Union prisoners in Confederate camps played the game. It even went out to the Pacific coast, where the original team was known as the Pacifics. About 1868, the first really professional club was formed, of all places, in Cincinnati, Ohio. It was known as the Red Stockings. Then came into the picture a very unusual character who was a great pitcher, Mr. Al Spalding, and he helped form the National League. Mr. Dimples Tate of the Bostons. Cap Anson, captain of the Chicago White Stockings. Born in Georgia, 1886. Tyrus Raymond Cobb. By 1890, every boy knew of the Baltimore Orioles. Slide Kelly Slide, Wilbert Robinson, and Mr. John Joseph McGraw. Teams and names are changing now. In Los Angeles, it's the Owls. Mr. Napoleon Lajoie, the American League's first great hitter. Pitcher Cy Young. Home run Baker of the 1911 series. 7 million people come to see the big ball games each year. Many of them here at the Polo Grounds, watching Christy Mathewson among many others, and the man who would be known as the Big Train, Mr. Walter Johnson. Roger Hornsby, the all-time National League champion with a lifetime batting average second only to Cobb. Who can forget the sentiments of Franklin P. Adams? Tinker to Evers to Chance. Words that are weighty with nothing but trouble. Tinker to Evers to Chance. This picture of Miller Huggins brings back fond memories to me. Miller Huggins was an intellectual in the game.